awards, then you must know which country you have worked or which country you have not worked, which band you have worked or which mode you have worked. So that for data analysis, you need this logs that has to be maintained. And what should you have in a log? Basically, in a log, you must have in chronological order the date and time of starting and ending of a contact with each station. So it has to be maintained in sequential order. The call signs that you have contacted, the frequency or the band that you have used, not necessarily that you have to be specific on the frequency. Let's say if you are on a 20-meter band, you can just say 20 meter. If you want to be more specific, you can say 14.240 if you are an SSB. Otherwise, you can just mention it as a 20-meter band. And the mode and power use. This also would be useful for at a later date of conditions, how conditions vary and what power you use to make that contact. Logging can be basically classified into two groups. One is the manual logging, the other is the electronic logging. I don't think I have to go through in detail about the manual logging, which because we have been everyone has gone through this manual logging, where you individually write each QSO as you go through in the day. Especially stations in on VHF are still doing a manual log, and I would request them to change over to electronic log, which would have some great advantages. So in the electronic log, you have many softwares. The most of them that I have listed, as you see here, are all free softwares that are available as an open source, so they can download and start using. You don't have to pay for it. I think hamradio DXer, if you have the older version, you can do it. Other the new versions has you have to pay for it. You have the DX keeper. You have the log for OM, the Swiss log, and logging software for a Linux operating system that is also there. Then N1MM is also a logging software, but that is specific to contests. Not that it cannot be used for other purpose, but there are other softwares that can do better work compared to N1MM. But N1MM is more specific to contest logging. And the last one is the logger 32, where I will be going in detail as to how we can use logger 32 for our amateur radio logging. So the first free software that I downloaded was hamradio DXer, and it was doing a good job, but it had got its own limitation. Now the screen that you have been seeing is the hamradio, this hamradio DXer, wherein but one basic requirement of all electronic logging is you must have the CAT connected. The CAT cable connection is a must, and without that you will not be able to do any digital efficiently. And not that you can't do, otherwise you'll have to manually enter, and there's no big point entering manually for a digitized QSO logging, but you must have the CAT to do that. For example, now we see, and this is my rig, and it's showing 14200, and the hamradio DXer is also showing 14200. And as I change the frequency, you can see the also changes, so that you can change the frequency here, and it changes on the radio. And if you change on the radio, it will change on the software too. See, that's the big advantage. And you can just switch over bands. For example, you can go to 17 meters, or you can go to the 15-meter band, or you can go to 30 meter. You can change bands and change frequencies at your will, and you don't have to go into the radio to do that. And here, for example, on the logging front, see, this is the HRD log, and you can see some of the contacts that I have done. Okay, this is an old log, so contact with Costa Rica. Now, all this it will directly give you. And for example, let me go to the log. Yeah, okay, log. Let us say contact view to DED on, let's say, 17 meter. Then I just say add this QSO. Then I can go back and see here, and here you can have a look. So DET is added here, and the mode that I selected was RTTY. So you have the view to DET, RTTY, India, and 17 meter. So this log already there. Okay, I will delete this log so that since I have not made a contact. And the other also advantage is on RTTY, for example, or on, let's say, on PSK. So this is RTTY mode. There are some softwares that are ready. For example, if you are calling, so if you call, you can call this, and then you can add to your log what these changes you can do on this software. And what about your station changes in information about your station? You can have it here. Then you can have, you can say, you can just have a chat, small chat. For example, RTTY or PSK, not so in FT8 or other modes, especially in RTTY or PSK mode or any other digital mode. You can have a small chat and tell them that you can say whatever your QTH, your name, whatever you want, you can program here. And also then at the end, you can just then say send 73, it will send 73. See your call now. Okay, let's put view to MUD here, and then let's say 73 is here. See, then it'll say your view to MUD. This is view to YBI, signing clear. So okay, I'll just wait for this to finish. See here, you can see view to MUD. This is view to IBI. That's on the RTTY mode. Then similarly here on the drop down menu, you can select which mode you want. The PSK 125, 63 or 31. Just a click of a button, you can see the bandwidth has also changed here for your DX. So you can see the two dotted lines for the PSK. Of course, I am not transmitting right now. I'm just showing it to you for a reference. And similarly, all other modes, for example, Olivia, because there are many modes in Olivia. You have MFSK, Domino, Health Scriber, or Field Health. You can have any, or Contesta, QPSK, PSK, any mode you want to select on digital. This particular software HRD is very, very useful, because most of the other softwares don't have provisions for let's say Hell or Olivia or Thor, because there are some contests where there are modes which are specific to Thor or Olivia or MFSK. So you have to come to this software HRD and get going there. So I will just close this HRD, and then let me HRD log will just look like this, as you saw on the live. The HRD waterfall also would be similar. And going to the other software, you have log for ORM, log for old man, log for OM. Oh, this is a free software with the complete station management that includes general logbook performance. You have DX clusters also coming in, cat radio interfaced, and also you have services which can be linked directly to LOTW, QRZ, or HRD log. What does this mean? That means if you finish your QSO, the particular log will be uploaded directly to LOTW, QRZ, or HRD log as and when the QSO is loaded, so that you don't have to bother uploading it on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Immediately it will be uploaded, and then you can see those uploads when you go there. The other DX software is DX Keeper. DX Keeper, of course, this is also a free application QSO that tracks award status, generates QSL cards and labels. Now, generating QSL cards and labels, In fact, I'm using DXkeeper till date to generate QSL cards and labels. I will get to show you that once we do this. This screen, after I finish the screen, I will get back to that DXkeeper. So it can be printed. See, QSL cards. See, now you don't suppose you get about 100 QSL cards. It's difficult for you to get the QSL cards to write all the 100. There's a possibility that you could do a mistake too. But whereas in DXkeeper, this you can always because since you have your QSOs logged in, it's very easy for you to print the QSL logs. So most of the time, maybe a year later, if you want to print those QSL logs, you can easily print those QSL logs. For example, you can go here on printing. This is the DXkeeper. Then you have this. Then you say the print QSL labels here, and it shows whether you need to skip first page or not. It's okay then. So yeah, and see here you have the labels. So you just print those labels and then you can paste it to the cards. Or
Prakash,
the other, yeah.
sorry to interrupt. There is a query that whether these two HRD and DXkeeper that you are mentioning, these are available on Linux is one of the questions asked by old man Saha.
No, so Linux, I think JLog, I think Linux, I'll have to, because I'm not a Linux man, I'll let you know there is one software for Linux, that is JLog, as I rightly said, JLog. JLog is a free software for, I would come to Linux software in a bit of time, Madhu.
Okay, right.
Right, okay. But I'm not sure whether DXkeeper, no, it cannot do for Linux as well as HRD. Linux softwares are totally different. The one, because since I'm not a Linux man, I think JLog is one uh, logging software that can be used on Linux operating systems. So as I said on DX, see this is one. So this you can directly print. Suppose you don't have a card, you can print you can print QSL labels also. This is printing QSL labels. You can okay. Now here you can have you can, let's say, print QSL cards. You can print QSL cards. Okay, I need to set up the printer here because this is not my print. I don't print it here where I'm speaking right now. So you can easily print a QSL card itself, but now by using these data, and you just export from here from the regular logbook. You export it to QSL log, and then you can start printing. And here a choice of single labels or 2-column label or 3-column label, or you can have these QSL cards, or you can just print reply cards. The size, the pitch, everything can be adjusted. It is not a issue at all. And the other useful thing in this, suppose you want to take a progress of what's happening on your WAZ was or see was, I think you can get it done here. You can find out how we have worked on was, so that it's easier for you to find out how you are placed in different categories. It's, for example, the DXCC challenge. You can see how you can go ahead with the challenge, or you can have a DX marathon. I don't know how many people know about it. DX marathon is it's uh, uh, it's a program where you check all the QSOs that you have done over the year and then submit it to the DX Marathon website, and they have some awards too for the best man who has done more countries and more zones. It's a combination of zones and countries. So to find out how it has done, you can see it here. How many zones I have worked, how many bands I have done, which stations I have worked. All those things can be seen with this. So they just click of a button, Whereas if you have a manual log, I don't think so you would be able to do all this. Then here you have the QSO. You can import a QSO, just export a QSO. Export it is a standard ADF file, or you can also export it in Cabrillo. For all contests, you might use in Cabrillo, or you can just export it in ADIF, and then that could be loaded onto your LOTW or QRZ or any other software. Okay. So this is the DX Keeper main screen, where you can have your QSOs that you could enter and then come out. Then you have the log capture. Log capture is for manual entry. Sometimes you need those because maybe your internet is down and you're not able to upload, and you just are you're not switched on your computer yet, and you've made your contact, so you make a note and then you can put it in at a later date. That's also possible. As I explained earlier, you have the log export, so you can export it to an ADF file or a Cabrillo file. Then here the progress, that is as you saw, that what is the progress that you have done over time, and with all the QSOs or particular yearly QSOs also you can get through. The other another software that is available is the Swisslog, or it can do as much as DX Keeper, and you can take WSJTX or JX call or MixW, FLDG, or whatever modes you're running. You can easily log it. You can also take it out for and link it to LOTW or EQSL or QRZ. That's not a problem at all. As I mentioned earlier, JLog is a software which is for amateur reading logging for the Linux platform. It can also do Windows, and Windows, of course, you have many other softwares to do Windows. I'm not aware, I've not gone through JLog because I'm not an Linux user. Maybe Ramesh or somebody else on Linux would be able to do that. This is a free software and you can try it out. Mac OS, Linux or Windows, it can do a clean job, not an issue at all. And as mentioned earlier, N1MM is a logging software basically used for contest. What do we need to use this for a contest? See, in some contests you can have only the zone, that is 59922, for example, India. Whereas in some contests they require an serial number, sequential number. So first contact is 001, and then the contact increases by 1, and then the next contact will be 59002. And N1MM will keep those contacts, and when you log in, you will have the time, everything, and the QSO, plus also your number that you are given, and his number also that you would have made down. So all that will be available for you to upload onto the contest site for further processing. That's on the N1MM. And today I'd be going in detail of logging using the Logger32. Now Logger32 is a very vast software running into more than 900 pages. In fact, it's difficult for me to find. If I want to find something, I have to use the find box only, and then go through that, because many places that each one of the application is mentioned, but it's really a software which many professionals use because of its exclusive approach to many different problems, and it could be solved. For example, it can run on Windows 7, 8, or Windows 11. Earlier versions of Logger32 also may work on Windows 95. I don't think so people will be using, but if somebody is using, then you have to go for an earlier version and then keep using it. And the configuration of this is general purpose and it's specific also, because most even DX Keeper and Logger32, they also have this antenna rotators. For example, you're beaming, let me say from Bangalore, beaming 300 degrees, you're into Europe, but you want to go to Japan 60 degrees. When you click a Japanese station, the antenna rotator automatically turns there. Of course, I don't use it because it will be a nuisance. The antenna keep moving quite frequently. So I try to avoid that. I'll quickly go through the screens, but I'll go through them live in a minute now. This is the logger 32. This is how your log looks like. For example, you have the date, you have the call, the frequency, band, mode, the country you work, what is the CQ zone, what is the RST received, what is the sent, what is the DXer entity here, and what's the grid square, and the ITU zone. Of course, if you fill in the names, etc., you can fill there. That is endless what you can have in your log. And this is the capture call sign, capture window, where you can capture the manually. You can enter the call and capture it, or you can do it automatically. This I will explain on when going live. This is the band map, where you can see the bands that are okay, the calls that are available, the hams that are on the band at that particular moment of time. And of course, you also have the cluster to see that how it can be done. So let me go through this. Okay, this is the logger 32 page, and here this is my setup for a logger 32 page, and here you can enter the call sign. For example, VU2 Lima uniform. Now I have Lima uniform. I have him here. Then one good thing is it says Ramesh. Now I just entered VU2LU. It says Ramesh. Then you come down here. It will tell you his address, QTH, his all this you can configure from a different software. Then what's his email number? It gives all the details, especially when you are in SSP and you have a new station, and you said good morning Ramesh, and it gives some personal touch. He knows that you know him by the name rather than by the call sign. So that's quite interesting here. Then for example, I type V2MUD. Now when I typed V2LU, I didn't get any red blocks here. The red blocks here stand for the confirmed QSOs. For example, all the previous QSOs I have done with Madhu is listed here. Starting from let me go back and see when I have started. 1995 here. From 1995 till date. All from 23. All the QSOs with Madhu are here with me. Now we imagine getting a data like this out of a manual log. I don't think so it will be possible. Not that it's not possible, but it will take a hell of a time. For a hobby, I don't think that is worth doing. But here, in the click of a button, you can get through all the details of the previous calls. Now let's come back to particular con on CW. See, on CW, what Madhu on CW, I worked India with so many people, and here is some of them with highlighted of the Madhu. For example, here Madhu is highlighted on particular call, and different people are here. V2 Alpha Echo, and different people whom I work with on this particular RTTV on 15 meters. I can get them on CW. I can just click and get all the CW contacts I have made on 15 meter. See, this will give you 15 meter all the CW contacts I have made on 15 meter. Similarly, on 20 meter, what are the 20 meter contacts I have done with India? So for example, let me go through 9 Lima 7 Alpha, 9 Lima 5 Alpha. Let's see. This is Sierra 11, where the DX expedition that's going on. Now looking at that, I've done only 3 contacts. So which is this contact? If I just click on that, it will be 9 Lima 1 YKJ, and here I have 9 Lima 5M, which is not confirmed on LOTW. So this is in blue. And see, if I have this window, I can know which other bands. See, now I need him on 20 meter. So this is come up in blue because I don't have him on 20 meter right now. on 17 meters and 30 meters. No, I have not made a contact. So this is coming up in blue. This comes up in red if I made a new country contact. So that I can show you. For example, if you go here, view, and now got, oh, wait a minute, file change operator. Sorry, go to file and change logbook. For example, this is my general logbook. Now I go to 81 HQ, that's the ARSI headquarters, and then say apply. Now what this has done is my log has changed. All these logs are from what I did for under the call 81 HQ, and you can see so many red ones. Red, for example, if I click red here, now I have not done any contact with Sierra Leone on 18 on the 17 meter band. So that will coming up in red. It's telling me, Rayar, this you have not done it. You have to, if you want, you can go through. That is in red. Blues are the ones. For example, I click on blue. Of course, blue. I have done many other contacts, but nothing is confirmed. That is on the Federal Republic of Germany. Similarly, other call signs. So I'll go back and change the logbook to logger 32. That's my regular VU2IBI log. Then you can see, as I said earlier, this is one thing. But here, this is one thing. So if I, let's say RA9V, I just click on RA9V. Now you can come into it, comes on the capture log, and its frequency is 14231, and you can see 14231 is already there on my rig. So similarly, band change also. Let's say TLA TLS, I go there and my band has already changed. Here you can see 18100 band has changed, and of course he is not registered. So for example, you go to some other frequency 21. This changes of frequency is easily happening with just clicking on the call sign. For example, here here if I go on, see here, if I go to radio 2, that's my ASU. If I go to radio 2, just hold on. Now I go to radio 2 and this should change to radio 2. Okay, let me see. Now you can have two radios, and automatically the frequency also changes on the other radio, so that you can easily change the radios into two different radios and still log each one without any changing of cables or any such thing. You can change this one minute. Let me check this. Oh, now that is not that is not happening for the moment. Let's see. Okay, now that is possible with this. Then here some of the useful things that could happen here is on the award setup, or you can view, let's say, awards. Let's say you view DXCCs. See, on the view DXCCs, okay, you come here. All time I have done 402, 193 countries, but Madhu said 306. Okay, here I have just 193 countries for 2024. I go back and put complete logbook. So as of now, I work 308 countries, and 308 are already confirmed. So here, with the click of a button, you can know how many countries you've done over the year, over full time, the entire logbook, or a particular year, let's say 2024 or 2023. You can do, and also what is the, you can just say phone and find out how much you have done on phone. Just a click of a button, I see, you can see the changes. For example, Albania, I have one confirmed here, and you can see, if you just click on that, you can see which is that Albanian station I have confirmed. Similarly, all the other ones, all the other countries are all listed here. You can just see, for example, Tonga, A3 Alpha 3, Alpha 3 1 Mike. I worked him on 20-meter band. Suppose, say for Trinidad and Tobago, I have 9 Zulu 4 BM, which is not confirmed on phone. Suppose I go and check for mixed. It will take. If we go to Trinidad and Tobago, okay. See Trinidad and Tobago. See, look at all the other. For phone, I have not done much. Better, whereas you can see on the right hand side here, I have 9 Yankee 4 DG. I've done on 20, mostly on 20 meters, because he is the one who confirms an LOTW. So I've done him on these bands, 40, 30, 20, 17, and all the other bands. So this is one thing that you can check out for. One is the DXCC. Then you can have the work all zones. And see, you can see here what are the zones that I worked. For example, on 20 meter, I worked all the zones. And I know if I want to work zone 32 with the US station, I need to work on 30 meters. So if he is there on 30 meters, I know I need him here to finish my VAS for 30 is on these two, zone 1 to 17 and 32. So these are the zones I need to fill up. Now with this, what happens is, I'm talking to you in detail about all this because it's easier to fill up your band, what we call as band fill is very easy for you to do that, because see, daily contacting people, this will remain as a record for your lifetime, as to how many countries you have made, in which bands you have made, in which zones you have made. All those things would be available here, and this is the CQ worked out zone. This is especially for the US call signs. And see, all zone mix, phone, CW, RTTY, let's say digital. Oh, okay. Now that's regarding the all zones, and some of the, see, serial number. See, not that you can't use logger 32 for contesting, but it is a bit cumbersome to use it on logger, using logger 32. Better there are other softwares like N1MM and other things to be used. And here I think, say for example, if you're yeah, go ahead, Madhu.
Okay, when you are mentioning about this contest numbering, there was a question from V2 Delta Echo Foxtrot,
Yeah.
whether the softwares are auto interface with radio, or do we have to manually update the information? You can probably explain what level of data is picked up by the computer cat and what is to be manually entered, Prakash.
Okay. Now, as far as that regarding that question, the only thing that you need to enter is the call sign. Rest, your data is, your numbering is automatically given out by the computer. Two things that you need to enter is his call sign and the number that he gives you. Maybe if you are giving him 010, he might give you 156. So that number you have to enter manually, and of course you have to have the cat cable so that your frequency, mode, everything is connected. See here, if you go below a certain frequency, for example 21 less than 21070, you can call it CW. That's your option. You can do whatever you want. But as far as the contesting is concerned, the sequence generated is automatic as far as your sequence is concerned, but while you have to manually enter the other calls. Any other question, Madhu?
There are other questions that we'll take it up later. This was related to what point you are raising. I
Okay,
thought,
okay,
interesting.
okay. I think I've come to the end of this session, and of course, anybody have any doubts, you can always call me later, or when you're having some problem with the installation. I think it's all exhaustively. You have your lot of YouTube videos to do that, but this logger 32, it's a bit it takes some time configuring logger 32. But once that is done, you can see the advantages that you can get out of the logging softwares. So I'll open the session for questions, if any, and I can answer if as many as possible. Go ahead, Madhu.
Okay, right. Questions can be posted on the YouTube chat. Please add your call sign. You may have already given your call sign, but please do add the call sign at the end of your query so that it will be easier for us to identify also. So we have currently about 4 questions that have been already been asked and pending. We have to Hotel Charlie Juliet. Ask, is it necessary to use contest loggers only, or can we use any other software to log and generate contest specific report?
Well, for contests, I would suggest you use a contest logware, a contest logging software. But in the HRD also, you can use it for general purpose as well as contesting. Whereas N1MM, I would prefer it to be used only for contesting. There are some, especially N1MM, I would prefer for because there, if you do a duplicate QSO, it will be grayed out. That is, you know that you already contacted him. Or there are times when it's an all Europe contest, worked all Europe, then you are contacting a Russian, it will be grayed out. It tell you that it's not in Europe, it's in Russia. So there are advantages using a software which is specifically designed for contests. Madhu?
Okay, thank you, Prakash.
Prakash, one question from my side.
Go ahead, Ramesh.
Yeah, so I think in some of the contests, the operators being in different location, they log into a centralized server. So individually, each one of them are logging, but it is all being logged in a consolidated fashion. Any thoughts on that? Any light you can throw on that, Prakash?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
there is
saw.
a related Prakash. There is a related question to that from Rajiv also. Can we? No, this was by Raghav Whiskey Victor Romeo. What in the case of computer crash and lost logs? Same with the whether the remote the contest stations, the big gun contest stations. What software do they run? What redundancy? So I'd already told him that N1MM is the preferred contest software. But his added question is, what about the computer logs and computer crash and the logs being lost? What is the redundancy uh, plan they have? Is a related question, Kash.
Okay. Now, see, as far as logging in any computer, there is a possibility that the computer could crash. But if you had seen the auto update of QSOs into LOTW or QRZ, now there is a backup. Because if you do a backup on QRZ, if you do a backup on LOTW, as and when you lock the QSO, then you already have a backup there. Any day you can go there and download all your log and then bring it back. That's one good thing that can happen. And even logger 32, you can have a different drive to save your logs. And normally what I do is I save my log once in a year, put it back to DXkeeper, and regularly I load it on a LOTW and EQSL and QRZ, so that those are my safe deposits for my logs. Madhu?
Okay.
Prakash, can I add to that reply?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So what I do for a backup is normally Some of us use Dropbox or Google Drive with a folder which is dedicated on our computer for such things. So whatever is in that folder is being also saved in the cloud. So I think many of us use it. I also use it. So Dropbox gives us free space of 2 GB, and Google Drives give us 15 GB space. So in any of the logging software, you will be able to choose your data saving folder. There will be a default folder, but you can always change it to any other folder. So what I normally do is I create a folder, with a custom name in my Google Drive local folder, and make that as a destination for saving the data of that particular logging software. So every time you log or every time this is updated, simultaneously it's also being saved in the cloud. So you normally don't lose your data. So this is what I personally do. Back to you, Prakash.
Yeah, thank you, Ramesh, for that input. Yeah, normally not just with data, with any of your other files also you can do that, and that is more sensible to do it that way. Go ahead, Madhu.
Okay, right. Thank you, Ramesh, and thank you, Prakash, also. And Ramesh, while you are on, there's a query from Rajiv LM. Can we install Windows-based software on Linux using Wine? Go ahead, Ramesh, because you are the Linux man.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it is possible. N1MM you can install. You can also install HRD. So there are specific, you know, videos dedicated for guiding you how to install it. So in fact, I use CQR log on Linux itself, and I have tried installing N1MM on Linux, Ubuntu Linux, and also hamradio deluxe on Ubuntu Linux. So it will work. I don't know about logger 32, but N1MM and HRD works. And configuring the ports, creating the virtual ports is a little tricky, but we can achieve it with some trial and error. It is not very hard, but it's not straightforward as in Windows, like COM1 and COM2. When you are trying to use the cat, so you will have to create virtual ports within Wine. uh, Wine standing for Windows Emulator. So it is possible, very much possible. Back to you, Madhu.
Okay, right. I hope that answers Rajiv's query. Uh, VU2 Bravo Quebec Foxtrot has asked one question. Is it possible to interface without the CAT interface cable, Prakash?
Interfacing what? Interface means you need to link up one device to another, so you need some
Yes.
cables to do that. I don't think so it can be done wireless, because I have no idea of the new rigs, but it has to be linked through your wire or through wireless. It doesn't really matter. It has to be linked.
See,
And the
the
best
CAT,
bet,
Prakash, the CAT itself on the radio that mentions is a computer. What is that? The computer accessible terminal or something was the expansion for that. So it has to be connected up, Probase. So interface cable is required. Otherwise, you'll have to do a manual logging where you have to enter the frequency manually. You have to enter the time manually. Or the computer can pick up the time of the QSO, the report, call sign, all other details that are required for that logger will have to be entered manually. So with a computer interface cable, you will be able to pull in most of the data on from your radio to the logger directly. Only the call sign and exchange that is done. If they just need to be updated, so it will make your life easier with a CAT interface cable. Hope that is correct, Prakash.
yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is, while you are doing manual updates, you are bound to make some errors. If I say 100 people to copy VU to XZY, they will copy as XYZ. So that is normal, because our brains are wired differently, and the cop hearing one and copying another one, there's a possibility that people could make mistakes there. The other thing is didn't answer Ramesh's question. Yes, if you have 5 stations running all over India and I want to do this, N1MM has the provision to interface all the 5 radios or the uh, computers and log it into one logging software. And it has been done previously, especially I think the expert there is VU2 Papa Tango Tango, Old Man Prasad. And I think he sent some files to me earlier, but I've not tried it out there. Ramesh?
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, I was referring to that only. I know once PTT has done that, and I think the other stations were LBW and I think Nandu from Mumbai. I think 4 or 5 of them did that. Thank you, Prakash. Thank you for that.
Good, Madhu.
Okay, right. Okay, Clement has already explained that computer aided terminal. CAT is a computer aided terminal. So the interface is required. So next question is from Balwant VU2BRT. Is inquiring about you are aware of any specific software which can be used effectively by net controllers, Prakash?
Yeah, I think so. All the softwares that I said, except for N1MM, which is a contesting software, it can be used for net controllers. And you can just select, say, for example, let me go back here and see on logger 32. If I go to the main menu and then I say file export log, then I go to ADF or whatever file you want. See here, I say partial log, then I start with the date. For example, today's date is 1/12, so I put 1 and then I put 12, and then I start export, and then see if 1/12 to 1/12, then I have to give a file name and it will be here. Then now this could be sent out in the group or wherever they want to. Or suppose you want to have not just the dates, you can have a particular call also. You can select here. For example, DP70. You have so 112. Let's say 22. 112.22 to 112.24. I want to have all contact with DP70. I can get it here. I just say DP70. Then I open. It says you can create that file, and it's searching for. You can see the QSOs. It's searching. See, it's got about 13. Okay. Then you go to that particular file and then open it, and you'll have 13 QSOs with the DP90. Madhu?
Okay, right. Hope that answers your query, Balwant. The similar query was raised by VU3 Bravo Oscar Mike on VHF net logging there. So hope that answers you also, Dilip. So next question is from VU2 RJV Rajaram, Brigadier Rajaram. Is it acceptable to maintain electronic logs for contests, and paper log also needs to be updated, Prakash?
Okay, now as far as regulatory authority is concerned, they would want to have hard copies of logs. So what you can do is you can have an electronic log and they get it printed month-wise or week-wise and then store it with you. That would be preferable as far as regulatory authorities are concerned, so that you have a log. It doesn't have to be handwritten. It has to be a hard copy of the log. That's what they are looking for. And I think that should be enough. I think Ramesh also may add something to it. Go ahead, Ramesh.
Yeah, correct. You are right, Prakash. So the regulatory authority insists that you have to maintain log for the last 1 year, at least for the last 1 year, along with your equipment register. These are the 2 documents which are required to be maintained in the station. The equipment register should give the detail of purchase of equipment and from whom you purchased, date of purchase, and the brief description of the equipment. I think that template is already there in the rules and regulation book. So the logging As Prakash put it, we at least as per the current rule, we have to maintain a printed copy. Thank you, Prakash.
Good, Madhu.
Okay, right. Thank you, Ramesh. We have to Mike Zulu Papa. Shashi Kumar has a query. Is HRD available for Windows and iPhone?
iPhone, yeah, iPhone. I don't know about iPhone interface, but Windows, yes, HRD is for Windows, Madhu.
Okay, right. That will need we check out because
No,
see now
HRD
most
is
of the
there
people
only
are.
for Windows. HRD runs only for, it's made only for Windows. If you want to run it on any other operating system, we will have to use a simulation or a emulator, and we will be able to install it. I'm not sure about a MacBook, but on Linux, I already clarified it is possible.
Okay. Next, Dilip V3 Bravo Oscar Mike had one more question, which I think we have already answered. Logger 32, can it be used without connection to the radio? So, like we said, Dilip, if you don't connect it to a radio with the cat cable, you will be updating all the information manually. So, it is as good as having a manual entry without the connection, Dilip. So it is always better to have a cat connection with your radio and the computer. So your logging becomes easier where you concentrate only on the call sign and the report exchange or certain other details that are variables. Otherwise, when you change a frequency with the cat cable, your logger is already capturing the frequency and mode details. So it becomes easier that way, Dilip. So
Madhu,
hope that answers your question.
Madhu.
Next question is from View to Tango India Juliet Anil Bhanot. Are there any logging applications available for Android devices?
Uh, I'm not sure, but there are some applications available on the web, web-based logging software. I do not readily remember that, but a quick search on Google will give you. So, see, for example, if you log on QRZ, it's a one way. If you are a free user of QRZ.com, you cannot download the log from there. You can only upload. You can only store log, but whatever is there, you can just view it, but you cannot download it. But these web-based logging software, they're also free, but they will be you will be able to upload or download and maintain your log. And when it is web-based, it is operating system independent. You can use any you can use an Android notebook or a Chromebook or a regular Windows PC or a Linux machine. As long as you have a browser, you can use it.
Okay.
And incidentally, this web-based software also they have the capability to connect to CAT. So you have the complete capabilities of a local software like CAT connection and things like that remotely also. Remotely meaning for the web-based software also.
Okay. I think we have gone through all the queries that have been raised so far. Before we close, there any other uh, queries that need to be answered? I know there will be a 20-second delay between what we see on YouTube before we get it answered here. So we'll just hang around for a couple of more minutes, just see if we have any other queries that come up there.